Welcome to the Isham Saling House. An Oregon pioneer family. It was their long-planned home, the realization of a dream they shared through years of hardship. The Isham Saling House, built in 1880, is the largest historic brick house in Weston, Oregon, a town with unique historical distinction. Isham Saling was the leading merchant in Weston and the first farmer to prove the fertility of the soil. He was also part owner of the Brick Hotel, 3 brick stores, and large amounts of farmland and livestock. The home of Isham and Melinda Martin Saling is an unusual and important Oregon example of the Italian villa style, as Belvedere structures were never common, and brick structures of this period are practically unknown. Prior to the death of Mrs. Isham Saling in 1938, the fine house contained its original square grand piano, marble-top parlor set, upholstery of crimson satin tufted and brocaded gold. Isham Saling, born in 1830, set out with a team of oxen from Monroe County, Missouri, in 1852. He came to Oregon across the Oregon Trail. He reached Salmon Falls on the Snake River, where he traded his oxen for horses and began packing into the Jacksonville mines. After 3 years, he left the mines to try his hand at farming in Yamhill County, Oregon. It was there that he met and married Melinda Morton. Melinda Morton, too, had come west in 1852, but in a wagon train departing from Belleville, Illinois, under the leadership of William Johnson. Their group had encountered many hardships on the way to Oregon. Melinda was one of the few who recovered when cholera struck the party. Many others in the group died. Finally, they reached the Dalles, where the wagon train, nearly out of food, welcomed offers of fresh fish and eggs. From the Dalles, they launched for Portland on flatboats. Melinda's family moved from Portland, which she described as a small village with stumps still in the street, to McMinnville. After their marriage in 1856, the Salings farmed for several years in Yamhill County before pulling up roots and moving to the Walla Walla Valley with all their livestock and worldly possessions. There they labored as farmers and ranchers until the hard winter of 1863, during which Isham watched many of his cattle starve to death that winter, and from then on decided to confine himself to farming, which he did with great success. In 1873, the Salings, by then one of the wealthiest families in Eastern Oregon, moved to Weston, and Isham entered the merchandise business. He soon became a prominent businessman of the community, owning one of the largest businesses in the county. His other business endeavors included half interest in the town's brick hotel, 3 brick stores, and a tract of land known as the Saling Addition, which was annexed to become the northern end of Weston. Isham also continued his farming on 230 acres near town. Finally, the years of pioneering hardship were over, and the Salings, with their 11 children, began to realize their grand home. It reflected their newfound permanence and their growing affluence, for they built it staunchly of brick from the Weston brickyard, special ordering curved bricks for the window trim and importing fine furniture, woodwork, door, and window frames from San Francisco and points beyond. A big square rosewood grand piano was shipped from Europe around the Horn to the West Coast and finally to the Saling House in Weston. The family traveled to California to select the carpet, furniture, and upholstery. The house, with its high ceiling rooms, beautiful woodwork, vast halls, and spiral stairway leading to the rooftop cupola sun porch, was constructed after a Belvedere Italian villa, an architectural style uncommon to the Pacific Northwest, but the theory is it resembled the East Coast Virginia houses where Melinda was born. It was the showplace of the community, a fine brick home built by Weston's leading merchant. The Saling House, a fine brick home, was a long-term historic preservation project of the Umatilla County Pioneer Association. It is now under the stewardship of the Weston Area Development Association. The empty house was purchased in 1976 by the Committee for Restoration, with money raised throughout the community and matching grants from the State Parks Division and the American Revolution Bicentennial Commission of Oregon. The house was listed on the National Register of Historic Places on January 1, 1976. Initial restoration efforts have focused on repairing the house's exterior to protect its interior from weather damage. Work has been done on the front porch, wall structure, and grounds. The Isham Saling House was constructed in 1880. The two-story red brick structure has a truncated hip roof, which was surmounted by a belvedere, was removed about 1947, and the building is a symmetrical example of the Italian villa style. The house included a full-length front porch with balustrade now missing, a large back porch, which is now missing, with similar detail, and an original small brick kitchen wing and a nearby brick cellar. A double parlor with sliding double doors is located on the north side of the central hall plan. It was divided, according to a newspaper account in 1936, into a formal, seldom used front parlor and a room formerly known as the billiard room. The south side was divided into three rooms, in addition to the kitchen located in the wing. The front room, which features a small fireplace with a segmental arch and marble facing, and now missing, was the bedroom of Mrs. Isham Saling in 1936. It is possible that the front room was a sitting chamber and the narrow adjoining room to the east was a sleeping chamber, office, or study. The woodwork included a large bracketed cornice and smaller porch detail, double hung windows, two lights over two, molded raised paneled doors, ornamental window and door casings, and a handsome staircase with a heavy turned newel and delicately turned spindles connected by a solid oak banister. A square room thought to be a dining room is located in the southeast corner, connected to the sleeping chamber, the central hall, the kitchen, and to a small space located at the back of the central hall, thought to be a pantry. A cupboard and pass-through connects this space with the adjoining kitchen. The upstairs is divided into 6 bedrooms heated by 4 stoves. One is located above the fireplace, one connects to the kitchen flue, and two are located directly above the parlor stoves. Both the first and second floor ceilings are 12 feet high. The attic space, visible from the extant cupola stairs, is large. The ceiling of the second floor is located at the bottom of the outside bracketed frieze. This area has 2 joist systems and was used for drying food. The heavy 4-panel front door is surrounded by a transom and side lights, which originally contained etched glass. The tall sliding double doors separating the double parlor are 6-panel, 3 panels over 3. The interior surfaces are plaster over brick, except the north-south interior divisions. The major rooms of the house have ceiling rosettes and plaster cove molding. The Saling House has segmental arch openings on the first floor, similar to several brick houses in Weston. The upper story openings are round-headed, as were those of the now missing wooden belvedere. None of these openings have keystone detail. The brick for the Saling House was made several blocks northwest of the site, in the local brickyard, which was partially owned by Mr. Saling. The same yard also made the brick used in all the surrounding communities. The brickmaker's residence, the Nelson House, constructed in 1865 and located on Water Street in front of the brickyard, contains the same curved brick detail surrounding the windows and doors as that found in the Saling House. The home was purchased for $8,000 in 1976, $4,000 raised through donations, matched with $4,000 from the State Historic Preservation Office. The Isham Saling House was placed on the National Register of Historic Places January 1, 1976. The house was cleaned up and trash hauled away. The grounds were cleaned up and the yard reseeded, and trees were cut down and replaced. An historic preservation architect was hired. The front porch foundation and floor was completed. We replaced most of the damaged windows and securing the house from further damage and vandalism. Equipped one room as a meeting room for our committee, and this involved cleaning out a huge 2-story chimney of pounds of dirt and soot, along with pounds of beeswax and wasp nest. The Saling House was considered one of the Oregon's most endangered places in 2013. We restored and reconstructed the tall front porch posts. We placed through rods between the floors and the attic to stabilize the building, and we shingled the roof of the root cellar. We acquired original East Lake style furniture from a relative of the Salings, shipped from California. Steady marble top table, chandelier, 2 chairs, walnut frame mirror, and more. The entire roof has been replaced. The front porch has been restored. The handrail has been replaced, and the window staircase, as opposed to spiral, from the attic to the Belvedere has been restored. Other donations for the Saling House includes a bedroom coal stove as well as other items. The city of Weston has provided water for the yard at no charge. Architect engineer was hired to survey the house and provide engineering study. Mothballing of the house to protect the windows and house from further damage pending complete restoration. The current projects include covering the cupola area and repair shingle roof to keep the water from entering the building. Cover the windows where windows are missing or damaged until they can be replaced. Rainwater disposal to drain rainwater away from the foundation. Structural stabilization, plumb exterior walls, foundation work on lower floor joists. Repointing, repair and repoint masonry on exterior walls. Replace the exterior doors, replace doors that have been removed or boarded over. Complete the porches. There were porches on the east and west side of the house. Restore windows. Examine all windows, replace and repair as needed. Restore cornice and brackets. Reinstall Italianate detailings, which distinguish the building in its heyday and include the original rainwater drains. Restore historic cupola. Replicate the cupola from portions that is left and from photographs. Install electricity throughout the house. At this point, only emergency repairs are being done since the foundation must be done prior to any further brick repair, windows repair, or plaster repair. In 2013, the Saling House was considered one of Oregon's most endangered places, according to the article written by Phil Wright for the East Oregonian on June 9, 2013. This old house on shaky ground. The Isham Saling House was built by Isham and Melinda Saling in 1880 in the town of Weston. The brick structure was recently placed on the list of Oregon's most endangered places. Weston's most historic house has landed on Oregon's list of the most endangered places in 2013. The designation from the Historic Preservation League of Oregon, now Restore Oregon, could lead to grants to help restore the cracking and deteriorating Isham Saling House. The Saling House was one of 10 places the Preservation League selected across Oregon. The list includes public and private properties, both residential and commercial, and spans rural and urban Oregon from the pioneer era to World War II. The League considers each site historically important and in imminent danger of being lost, so each will receive help from the League, including qualifying for a $2,500 grant to help start rehabilitation and reuse. Isham Saling, a prominent Weston businessman, had the ornate brick house built in 1880. But following the Great Depression, the house changed hands, upkeep fell off, and the house began falling apart. The Saling House Restoration Committee is part of a nonprofit dedicated to giving life to the old place, bought in 1976 with the aim of one day operating the house so it can earn enough to pay for itself. That has not happened. Committee member Sheldon Delp said the house is on shaky ground. The foundation, he said, is crumbling and the house is splitting apart. Large cracks are on the height of the two-story walls, and the brick in some places is pulling away from the interior walls. The Saling House Committee in 2012 focused on keeping the porch from falling down, Delp said, but repairing the foundation is the top priority and comes with a price tag of about $300,000, and this was the estimate was in 2012. That's why getting on this endangered list is good, Delp said. The League really goes all out to help the places on the most endangered list, he said, and that will be an essential component of saving his architectural treasure. If the Saling House Committee can restore the place, Delp said, the next step would be making it economically sustainable. Maybe the house could work as a type of hotel or guest home. How do we have it be something that people want to come to Weston to see, he said, is the big question. The answer could determine the future of the Saling House. After 48 years of ownership, the Umatilla County Pioneer Association Board of Directors approved transferring the Isham Saling House via quitclaim deed to the Weston Area Development Association in April 2024. WADA was organized in February 2022, focusing on historic preservation of Weston's historic buildings. Receiving ownership of the historic house fits with their mission. The same working committee followed the transfer to WADA. The first site assessment and restoration report was done in 1999 by the same architects firm that did the reassessment in 2025. This project was funded by the Hart Family Foundation grant the Blue Mountain Community Foundation grant, and donations through the Valley Giving Guide. More work means urgent need for donations and grants. Your help is needed. We need volunteers to serve on the Isham Sailing House Committee. There is much to do, from helping to clean the yard, mow the lawn, clean inside, and even helping to raise funds. We need donations. Even with grant funds, there is a required match of funds or in-kind match that is required. WADA is a 501c3 nonprofit. Our tax ID is 88-0783069. All donations are tax deductible to the extent of the law. We recommend that you consult your CPA or tax attorney regarding donations. For more information or to volunteer, contact Sheldon Delph at 360-520-3819 or email to s_delph@hotmail.com. All donations will be acknowledged. Please include name, address, phone number, and email address, and you may donate in memory of someone. You can send checks made out to WADA to P.O. Box 256, Weston, Oregon 97886. Donations may also be made online at ishamsailinghouse.com. Thank you for visiting the Isham Sailing House.